Hey you guys, hope everybody's having an amazing morning. So I was asked the question how long to veg for inside my grow tent. Well, the one rule is are you growing an indica or are you growing a sativa? And I'll get to that in a minute of why it depends on if you're growing an indica or sativa. Well, when you go, you grow, measure your tent, figure out how big your tent is. Then you figure out how low your light hangs at its like top where you can't move it up and down anymore because you're going to want to measure 12 inches from its highest point down. And at that point is where you measure from there all the way down to the ground. And the reason why that is you don't want your plant to get more than about 12 inches, any closer than 12 inches from the light. And the reason why is because that light will burn your canopy, it'll bleach your buds and everything else. So, speaking there, you want to say your tent is 70 inches tall, roughly. Well, at that point, you wouldn't want your plant to get more than about 30, 35 inches, right around there. And the reason why is because when you go from that 18 and 6 to that 12 and 12, your plant goes through its biggest growth spurt and it stretches. And so when that plant was only putting on a couple inches or a few inches every day, it's putting on about 4 or 5 inches every day, or sometimes 6 inches is what I've heard, but I've never witnessed it. So saying that your plant, if you're growing an indica, during those first 2 weeks, it's going to go through its biggest growth spurt. It's going to be anywhere from 30 to 40% with indicas. I usually will actually no, let me back up. It'll be about 25 to 30% with indicas. And with sativas, you're looking at anywhere from 50 to 75% in those 2 weeks. And they call that stretching phase. And during that phase, you'd be like, okay, well, my plant is only so tall. I can let it go a little longer. Well, then you have to take into effect how tall is it right now, and then add 30% to it if you were to flip it right into a flower right then in that instant. You don't, after you do that math, you'll figure out, okay, well, I'm getting really, really close to being too big. Well, at that point, flip because you don't want to go closer than about 12 inches unless like you're running CO2 and know your plant inside and out. And at that point, I know friends that it go as low as 6 inches from their light and they're running CO2. Me, I don't go any closer than about 10 inches. I don't want to risk burning my buds and all that other stuff. Um, One other thing is how big is your grow pot? A rule of thumb with me is forever how big your grow pot is, I veg for 1 week for every gallon. So I usually use about 5 gallon grow pots. So I veg for about 5 weeks. And then I flip to flower. So I hope that was enough information into everything. If you have any questions or if I didn't touch in on something, please email me, ask me, and I'll get right back to you. Till next time, God bless.